In the meantime, we want to talk about Chris Dodd's regulatory reform bill, the one he has proposed, and one that could change an accredited investor definition. We're going to get to that in a little bit more with our next guest. He says it will reduce the number of so-called angel investors for startups. He says that Dodd's provision will damage U.S. entrepreneurship and strangle American innovation. Bob Rice is with me now. He is the founder and managing partner at Tangent Capital, which structures high-yield investments for its hedge fund clients. He is also an active member of the New York Angels. That is a consortium. We're so glad to have you with us, Bob. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Define, first of all, what this is, this accredited investor.
Well, it's a very technical legal thing, but what it boils down to, most of your listeners are aware of what private placements are. It's the way that early-stage companies raise capital, whether it's equity or debt, from friends and family, from angel investors like the New York Angels, David Rose's group here in town, from individual venture capitalists. It's the gateway through which nearly all early-stage money shows up and allows seed capital to flower in this country.
And we know that about $20 billion, right, per year goes into small businesses.
Well, $20 billion was during the crisis year, so it was $20 billion during, of each in the last 2 years during the worst fiscal crisis anyone can remember. And I challenge Senator Dodd to tell me what part of the American economy worked better at capital formation during that time.
It seems like that you would have a good political argument, though, right? Because the Obama administration is always talking about helping out small jobs and small businesses. So that should be a strong point of your lobbying.
I think this is why the venture capital community is absolutely having a heart attack. I mean, there is about this. No one can fathom what is going on here. What is the policy reason for shutting down investment in early stage companies? I mean, this is the most American part of the American capitalist system, right? Start your own business, build something, become great, and it's the engine that's driving productivity, it's the engine that's driving innovation, employment. Everything else in this country that's good right now is coming out of these kinds of investments.
And Bill, I mean, you're a very successful entrepreneur yourself. I mean, you even told me that had this provision been in place when you were starting up, you might have a different track record.
No question about it. I did a true garage startup out of scratch with some Russian engineers back in the 90s. And if we hadn't been able to raise capital in this system, we would never have become successful. Eventually, that company became a public company. And that story is repeated over and over and over again. Again, at the New York Angels, which I'm a member, we've seeded millions of dollars into scores of companies over the last few years. And they're very successful at job creation. That's what we need right now.
So, Bob, what are you doing about it? I mean, you're a former DA as well, so I imagine you're kind of getting down to Washington and lobbying. Is that right?
Well, you know, the funny thing is this was such a little-known provision. You really have to connect the dots through the legislation to realize what's going on here. So it's just now becoming a real fire in the venture capital community. People who are interested should go to the Angel Capital Association, the ACA website, read about it, get involved, call your congressman. This is an important issue.
Have you sent a letter to Dodd? Just out of curiosity.
Of course we've sent a letter to Dodd.
Have you gotten a response?
No, of course we haven't gotten any sort of response here. Just to illustrate the gravity of the problem, these changes would take 75% of the people who are already doing this investment out of the water. Not allow them to make these investments anymore, not allow them to spend their own money in an area in which they are experts to help drive the American economy. It's an absolutely insane piece of legislation.
You said you've, even during the crisis, we're getting a lot of money to a lot of good companies. Just out of curiosity, can you give me a percentage? Where was the money going? Tech companies? Biotech?
Well, you can go to angelsoft.net and get a good dashboard of where all of the money goes. That's one of the great things about this business is it's becoming much more sophisticated over the course of the last many years. But sure, technology is one of the leading takers of money in this thing. And of course, you know what kind of effect that has on the rest of the economy because it creates jobs for so many people.
All right, Bob, well, we're going to follow your progress. We wish you luck. Thanks for coming in to talk about this. That is Bob Rice. He is at Tangent Capital. He is the managing partner there.